Hi, I'm David Kilpatrick, publisher and editor of Cameracraft magazine. On Monday I went to the NEC in Birmingham to the photography and video show, and I only bought one thing while I was there. It was something I've been looking for. It's really difficult to get a backpack which you can take on Ryanair and put under your seat, and which holds any worthwhile amount of camera gear. You look at all the backpacks, you will find that they are 46 centimetres, 44 centimetres, whatever it might be. They're either too wide, too high, too fat, or they simply don't hold the right amount of kit, or they're just a bag, they're not a backpack. And I wanted a backpack. I wanted something which I could actually put everything in and have on my back. Not something I've often done in the past. I normally use small shoulder bags. But having gone to Lisbon early in March and had a Ryanair flight back, I had to cut down on what I was taking, and it was really quite difficult. So, at the photography show, I found this. They are currently 65 in the shops. It's a Lowepro Tahoe BP 150. It's one of the smallest camera backpacks you can get, and believe it or not, this does fit into Ryanair's specifications. It also fits a lot more than the Lowepro catalogue or online information would tell you it does. It doesn't fit chickens, unfortunately. Because if it did fit chickens, this one would be safely away. Go on, go on. They're very friendly, but they're not really what you want when doing this. Now, the point about this backpack is that it says it'll take a 10-inch tablet. Well, I wouldn't actually carry a laptop with me in my camera backpack, but if I have to go on a flight, it's actually quite useful that it'll take a 14-inch MacBook Pro. Not a 10-inch tablet, it'll actually fit a 14-inch MacBook Pro. It's a snug fit, but it's a secure fit. Doesn't mean you probably wouldn't get much else in this outer compartment, but that's not vitally important. The thing is, they've understated sizes everywhere. The other point about a backpack is, when you're wandering around a city, particularly abroad, if you are doing that, or if you're travelling, you really don't want anybody to be able to open the backpack and remove what's in it while you're distracted by filling in a form or having a coffee, you know it. It's got two little loops on the side, there. Just normal clip loops, but those clip straps just stop anybody from unzipping the backpack and easily opening it, because all they get to is a top compartment with another zip which probably contains your sandwiches. So that's just a security measure which I liked. Okay, so I'll unclip these. Then, when you open the backpack, the information about this backpack says that it is good for a Canon, what is it, what do they call it? Canon Rebel T5i or something. That's a camera which must be now belonging to a generation which has been forgotten and buried long ago. We're now in the mirrorless age. The suggestion is it'll take a Canon Rebel T5i with one 18 to 135mm lens, a 50mm 1.8 and a flash gun. Well, that's not what I'd travel with normally. What it will take, quite comfortably, is a Sony A7 series camera. There I've got the 20 to 70mm Sony lens on it. That's got rather a fat lens hood on it, and if I move that and put it into another compartment, it actually improves the amount of space I can get inside the case. Then in here I've got 70 to 300. That's, again, got the lens hood on it. I'll pop down there, and bottom I've got a Voigtlander 10mm, which is really quite useful if you're wanting to get interiors of architecture and stuff like that. And I've popped a 50mm macro in there as well. And although I don't use flash very often, I've put a Nissin i40 flash in its case inside here too. So it's got all that in it, along with a nice big neoprene strap too, which is very comfortable walking around. It's wide, but of course it takes up space. It's not skinny like a little camera strap provided with the camera when you get it, but it's also not uncomfortable the way that those are, and it is springy and it's padded and it's soft. It doesn't scratch the camera. I've now got space in there for a blower bulb as well, with, you know, a blaster, which I can fit there. Okay, so in the top of this there's another little compartment. In there at the moment I've got a 72mm polarizing filter. Oh, I've got that I've got that blower blaster, which would equally well just go down there. I've got a spare battery. That's a Newell battery. This is a low temperature battery which Newell make for the Sony series. I've got my tile in case I lose it. Just make sure I can find the bag on the phone if I put it down and anyone does lift it. I know it's a risk. Oh, I've got a tripod too. That's just a little table. You've seen these around. They've been made over the last 30 years, 40 years. They're almost useless, but they will hold a camera. They will enable you to do a shot on top of a table or a wall or something without taking any real space or weight. So I've got one of those in there too. Oh, and I've got a camera which actually sits quite happily on that, the little Sony RX 100 Mark II here. I must get myself a Mark III or something later with the EVF, but that's a nice 20 megapixel compact camera just popped in there. Now that top compartment would equally well hold another Sony A7 series body. It would hold the lens hoods from these lenses, which would give me a bit more space that way. There's a lot of options there. I'm going to put that back in. You'll see what I'm getting at. The point about this is it is actually Ryanair under-seat bag size compatible. It's only there if you squeeze it a little bit, because it's like a couple of centimetres over in one dimension. If you do stuff it out that way, then you may find it's just that little bit too big. But I don't think so. You're going to get it in there. It's 40 centimetres high, 25 centimetres wide, and actually less than 20 centimetres deep, even if you include the backpack straps, which are one of the main causes for bags being too big for airlines. So that's the little Lowepro BP 150, Tahoe BP 150, small backpack, ideal for travel. These have a recommended retail of 85 quid, which is quite reasonable by bag standards. There's a lot of bags I've seen which now sell for three-figure sums. Don't think any run to four figures now, but they can be very expensive, and I treat them as something which is almost disposable, because they're going to get beaten up, they're going to get used. You need to be able to replace them quite regularly. They don't need to be beautifully made or a craftsman job. They can just be, as this is, a Chinese-made thing, which is adequate. Designed in Italy, made in China, sold by Lowepro. It's got, of course, in here, there's a compartment in there which will take your passport, your wallet and things. And then in this other part here, there's a load of compartments for credit cards or anything that you might foolishly want to put in there where they can be lifted. And that mythical tablet, instead of putting in a complete full-size computer. You could put your laptop charger and everything in that top compartment as well. Now, hello Willow, it's okay. This is a really convenient small backpack. It will also take a water bottle in the side if you want to. I wouldn't think it would take a tripod, I'm sure they say it will, but these side pouches are more convenient just for putting anything you happen to be carrying. It's not so big that it's not going to knock anyone over. At the photography show, on the Wex stand, these were priced up at £49, which was a really, really good discount. So I went and had a look at one, and then they labelled them all £39. Well, you're not going to get it for that at a store now. I would guess it must be end of the line. They've probably decided that since Canon Rebel T5Is are no longer exactly the world's best-selling camera, and they happen to have listed that as being what it's suitable for some obscure reason, maybe it's time to move on. But these are actually ideal for mirrorless systems. Well, there's a Canon R5, a Nikon Z7, whatever, with lenses. even these quite bulky Sony G lenses I've got in here, or the set of 3 Tamrons that I've got. I've tried it, tested it out, easily get the 17 to 28, the 28 to 75, and the 70 to 180 f2.8, the full set of f2.8 lenses in here, plus another lens as well. You know, there is room within this bag. They're a little bit longer and less fat than the Sonys I've got in here, but they still fit really easily. It's weighs, has set up here, even with the laptop in it, it weighs only 6 kilos. Now, with the laptop out of it, this full kit, even with 5 lenses in it and all the accessories and stuff I've got, will be under 5 kilos, which is a critical weight for if you're doing puddle jumping in the Caribbean, or you're getting minor flights in the Balkans or something to go from one city to another. You find you can only take a 5 kilo cabin bag with you. So the fact that it's only 800 grams as a basic weight of the item, and it's not lacking in solidity either. All I find difficult with backpacks is getting the things back on again. It's easier to put it on the table and reverse yourself into it, but I don't find this too bad because it's a small backpack. And just straighten out the strap, having got it on, find out which way it's twisted, which it always inevitably is. Maybe it's not that way. That's not too bad. That's out. That's backwards. There we are. That's like that. That's really comfortable now, and it doesn't stick out so far that it's going to knock people in the face when you're on the tube or on a bus, which is one of the most annoying aspects of photographers with backpacks. You're not going to be shoving through crowds. You're not going to be trying to get through a door and unable to get through. Of course, this is narrower than your body if you're reasonably normal. And anyway, that's it. Lowepro Tahoe BP 150 backpack. They can be obtained in the UK from Wex, from Wilkinson's as well, have them apparently in stock at the moment. And I say normal price is 65 quid, and I think they're worth every penny of that. I was very pleased to have gone to the photography and video show and picked one up at a real bargain price, but I just had to just buy it. Even without studying it in depth, just making a few checks to see how big it was. And it was okay. Go on, hands. Oh dear. Check out cameracraft.online to subscribe if you want to Cameracraft magazine, which is a real printed magazine. It is also available as a PDF download, but it is one of the few surviving genuine printed magazines, and it has hardly any ads. In fact, I think we only had 1 or 2 in the last issue, so although it's quite a slim magazine, you get as many pages of articles and as much in-depth text and as many great photographs as you would if you bought a consumer-type photo magazine. It still has a high content of advertising and has become quite a lot slimmer over the years too. Cameracraft.online.